We make 4 mirrors. 5th mirror for this guy. Boom. Smack him. All right. It's Vex. And today, we're actually talking about this little guy right there. Urtet. Remnant of Memnarch. That's right. Memnarch has died from the original Mirrodin. Urtet is this little mirror, little dude, that is carrying part of Memnarch or Memnarch parts on his back or whatever, and is a mirror creature deck. That's right. Costs 3 generic, but is a 5-color commander. Whoa, is this next Golos? No, it's not. No, don't worry about that. It's not next Golos. Because this creature wants you to have lots of mirrors. It's a legendary artifact creature mirror. When you cast a mirror spell, create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token. So definitely have those tokens right here, 1/1s. Then at the beginning of combat on your turn, untap each mirror you control. Then you pay Wooburg, tap, put 3+1/+1 counters on each mirror you control. Activate only during your turn. But you can activate it anytime during your turn, either on your upkeep, in the middle of combat, but just only during your turn, which I like better than activate as a sorcery. But I digress. So, super straightforward deck, right? Wants you to cast a lot of mirror, make more mirrors, untap them, maybe mana mirrors that can make mana dork mirrors that can make mana, then make them big, and then boom, attack for lethal. That's right, swarm them with the army of mirrors. So, in order to do that, we have tons of mirrors right here. But before we get to the deck tech, don't forget to have your tokens. I even have old school mirror tokens and new mirror tokens. Shapeshifters, which are mirrors, lots of different shapeshifters, and other stuff. Poison, ooh, what's that for? We'll get to that. So, definitely have your tokens. I have a deck list in the description below if you want to check that out. Before I dive into the card by card or card section analysis I like to do, we're actually going to, Cyclonic Rift, who knows? We're going to cut the deck in half, check out all these cool mirrors. So this deck wants you just to cast a bunch of mirrors. Cast a mirror, make a mirror, that's right. Then you could tap the mirror, have Urtet's ability trigger beginning combat, untap the mirror, gain value. And we do want to do stuff like that, which gains tons of value by making tons of mana, Cryptolith right, and such like that. Untap, tap our mirrors, do mana sinks, like Seaboard Muse, kind of like another Urtet wannabe. So do all those cool things, sink our mana to things. Urtet is a mana sink as well, which is really cool. So that's the basics of the deck. Now, without further ado, let's get into the specifics of each card section. The first section are the natural mana dorks, right? Because Urtet, you tap your mana dorks on main phase 1, go to combat, Urtet untaps them, they can tap them again and do more cool stuff. We have other things like Cryptolith Right that can turn your mirrors into mana dorks, pseudo mana dorks, but these are the natural ones. We have the 5-color, one of each color mana dork, the Wooburg ones. Copper mirror, iron mirror, silver mirror, gold mirror, leaden mirror. Cost 2 generic, 1/1, tap to add their respective colors. Right there, pretty easy. Then we have the other mana dorks here. We have a new one from Phyrexians All Will Be One. Actually, this deck does have a lot of new cards. 2 generic, Toxic 1. Pay 2 life, add 1 mana of any color. The 2 life does hurt eventually. The Toxic 1 is why we have the poison counter. It might count, we might maybe deal 10. Who knows? Probably not. But it's there to keep track of the game state. We want to have a good game state. Other people might be poisoning other players. So that one is essentially like, turns things into Phyrexian mana. Kind of. We have Plague Mirror, which has Infect and add 1 generic. So no pain involved. 2/1/1. A 2-mana 1/1. This is a 2-mana 2/1 here. But Toxic 1, so only 1 poison counter per hit. We have Alloy Mirror, which is essentially can produce color mana of any color, but it costs 3 generic to cast, and is a 2/2, so slightly bigger. Then we have Palladium Mirror, which is really cool. I like this. 3 generic, 2, and adds 2 colors to your mana pool, so really good right there with Urtet. We include more mirrors here. Usually I want the smaller mirrors on the smaller side, so I could trigger Urtet, make more mirrors, trigger Urtet again, and so forth and so on. Now we have various looking mirrors, but I like this one right here. One of my favorites is Mirror Galvanizer. 3 generic, and then is a Lord right there. Other mirror creatures get +1/+1. 1 tap, untap each other mirror you control. Wow. even untaps your commander, and then lets you tap him again, and Urtet untaps him. So very synergistic with your commander, Mirror Galvanizer. Mirror Retriever, not too great. You know, too generic. When it dies, return another target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. Get things back. Hover Mirror, I like this because it's just Flying Vigilance. Simple. A 2/1 for 2 generic. Then you have Mirror Welder, which I actually really like this one too. Actually, I like them all. They're all fun. They're really cute, aren't they? 3 mana value, 1/4. Tap, exile target artifact card from a graveyard. I love graveyard hate. Then Mirror Welder has all activated abilities of all cards exiled with it. So you can do some cool stuff while doing some graveyard hate at the same time. Shimmer Mirror. This is really cool. And this helps with like Seaborn Muse here, shenanigans. 3 generic. Flash, you may cast artifact cards as if they have flash. 2/2. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, just read the card. Lodestone Mirror. This is a neat one too. 4 generic. I didn't know this existed until I built this deck. Trample. Tap an untapped artifact you control. It gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So you could just, you know, put the Urtet trigger on the stack. You know, even if Urtet dies, the trigger still happens on the stack. Tap all your things, make Lodestone Mirror bigger. Untap them. You know, if you don't have anything else to do, attack with your big mirror here. Mirror Kinsmith, another new card. Phyrexians will be 1. 4 generic. 1 ETBs. You may search your library for a mirror card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Now, note this says mirror card, so changelings do count. It doesn't have to be a creature, so it can be a tribal card as well, which we'll get to in a bit. Then the biggest, baddest mirror of them all, Mirror Battlesphere. 7 generic. ETB makes 4 1/1 mirrors. Then when it attacks, you may tap X untap mirror you control. If you do, this gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the things that you tap, and deals X damage to a defending player. Boom. That's where you tap, let's say 10, 20 mirrors, +20/+0, 20 damage to the face. So I really like this card too. Okay, I like every card. This one looks cute as well. Okay, so these are the changes I was talking about. These are actual mirror spells or mirror cards. And it's funny because if we look at this card called a Mirror Entity, 2 and a white changeling. So this card is every creature type in all zones forever. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX and gain all creature types. It makes everything a mirror and buffs them up. So that's pretty neat. Unsettled Mariner is a mirror, white, blue, changing. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability and opponent controls, counter that unless they pay 1 generic. Then Realm Walker is also a changeling. I love changelings. Maybe they're too powerful, maybe they're not. Who knows? 2 and white. When it ETBs, choose a creature type. Mirror, of course. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top card of your library. Awesome. Then we have 2 removal spells that are Tribal Instance, Shapeshifter, Changeling. So these are mirror spells. When you cast these spells, they do trigger Urtet, and they can be searched for with, what's that card again? Mirror Kinsmith right here. It says mirror card. Sometimes it says mirror creature card. Therefore, it has to be a creature, but it says mirror. So you can search for these things. Nameless Inversion. Target creature get +3/-3. So you can actually buff your dudes if you have more than 3 toughness. Or kill somebody with 3 or less toughness. Then you can Crib Swap. Exile target creature. And his controller makes a 1/1 Shapeshifter, which is also a mirror. Just in case you didn't know. You know, I forgot to put Metallic Mimic in the honorary mirror section. However, it doesn't count as a mirror spell being cast, so it doesn't trigger Urtet. But as it enters the battlefield, you can choose mirror, so it becomes a mirror on the battlefield, right there. Then when a creature of the chosen type ETBs, put an additional +1/+1 counter on it, can so grow your tiny little mirrors easily. So just want to add that in there. It's there. I forgot to mention in the previous section. Here we have mirror token generators. Right there, the mirrors are they're all 1/1 artifact creature tokens. No problem here. Mirror Smith, love the name. Right there, when you cast an artifact spell, any artifact, pay 1 generic, make a little mirror. And here is a card from Mirrodin Besieged, of course. 5 generic. Tap, make a mirror. Then tap life, untap mirror you control. Search your library for a mirror creature card and put it onto the battlefield. So your mirror battlesphere itself can power the entire turbine. You can cast mirror battlesphere. It makes 5. You could tap this to put another mirror onto the battlefield. Of course, mirror battlesphere is the one you want to put onto the battlefield. This is really cool. Mirror turbine, and with Seaborn Muse, you can do some crazy shenanigans. Then we have the very expensive Mirror Matrix. You don't have to play this card if you don't have it, but I think it's really cool. It's a Mirror Lord. All mirror get +1/+1. Then 5 generic, put a 1/1 mirror artifact creature token into play. So create a mirror. And having mana 6 is really good because you're untapping a lot of your mirror, and sometimes they have mana dork abilities like Cryptolith, right, which we'll get into very soon. Then you could sink your mana to here, and then you could use the turbine to get more mirror. So I really like those cards here. Then you have Mirrodin Besiege, the actual card, not the set. 2 and a blue. Both modes are actually really relevant. Mirroring, when you cast an artifact spell, make a mirror. So this is much better here because it's free. You choose Mirroring here, or choose Phyrexian. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card, then discard a card. Then if there are 15 or more artifact cards in your graveyard, target opponent loses the game. That's right. So if somebody board wipes you, you got a bunch of stuff in your graveyard, you still have the opportunity to kill people with Mirrodin Besiege. Then we have the innocuous Black Market Connection. 2 black. At the beginning of your career combat main phase, you choose 1, create a treasure, lose 1 life. Draw a card, lose 2 life. Make a 3/2 shapeshifter, lose 3 life. That shapeshifter is also a mirror for all intents and purposes. So it's really good for deck. Gives you cards, gives you creatures, gives you treasures. I believe I mentioned this many times. Cryptolith, right? Let's actually go right to the card. If you didn't know what it does, now you'll know. 1 in green. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Why that's important? Because you can tap all your mirror, even the little creatures that Urtet makes, if they're not summoning sick, of course. Tap them, generate mana, have them untap, tap them again, generate mana. Now, even with their summoning sick, Urza Lord High Artificer lets you tap an untap artifact you control, add 1 blue, even the summoning sick ones. It's just really insane. It comes in with a little construct, and it also has mana 6, so this card is completely perfect for the deck. Unfortunately, it is on the expensive side, but definitely I would get this card before the other Mirror Matrix card because it makes an artifact, turns your mirrors into mock sapphires, and then is a mana sink. Shuffle your library, exile top card. Until the end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. It does follow time restrictions, so don't. So you can't activate this on your opponent's turn if you want to try to find instant, not a sorcery, not a creature, not anything else, just instant. There we go. Then we have the untapping things right here. You want to untap Seedborn Muse, which I've mentioned before. Thank God they put the activate only during your turn, because can you imagine if you activate this during the entire turn cycle 4 times? That is 12 +1/+1 counters on all your creatures in 1 turn cycle. Pretty crazy. And they might be able to survive Blasphemous Act if you can do it a 5th time. But that's not true. That's why it's the word the way it is. But Seaborn Muse lets you untap all your permanents during each other player's untap step. So you use mana sinks like Urza, like the Mirror Matrix, and like other cards we have on the in the deck. You have Drum Bellow. It actually has a Flying Spirit. 2 and a white. 2/1. Untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. So like a Seaborn Muse, except for not all permanents, just all creatures, which is the thing that you really want to tap anyways. Then you have Unwinding Clock. Untap artifacts you control during each player's untap step. Just pretty neat too. There's other synergies that we'll see later on to use our artifacts for, but Urtet again is the main source of our value engine there. I would consider these 5 cards one of the most important sets of cards in the deck. Hopefully hopefully they don't get killed, but once they're on the battlefield, or they're multiple of them are on the battlefield, well, I guess this one and this one they don't do extra, but if you have like this and this on the battlefield, very good. This on the battlefield by itself is very good. So you want to try and protect these cards. I know I don't usually play with counter spells, but maybe weed out some hate with some other stuff, and then boom, play these cards, and then try to get value from them right away because your opponents are gunning for these cards. I typically leave the ramp for last, but there's not a lot of ramp cards here because we're using our mirror, we're using the untappers right here, we're using Urza and such to get value. So these are the rest of our ramp cards. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. I usually play Arcane Signet in 5-color decks or any decks with green, but this is an artifact deck, so Arcane Signet is proper here. And then Foundry Inspector just makes all your mirrors cheaper. I also forgot to mention the secret 6/1 mirror galvanizer right there can untap each other mirror you control. So that is also part of the Fab untapping 6 now. Not I was calling it the Fab 5, but now it's the Fab 6. These are some of the synergies you have with your creatures. You have Gerper Aether Grid, where you can tap 2 untapped artifact you control, deals 1 damage to any target. This gets completely out of hand with Urtet and completely out of hand with these other untappers. Very good there. We have Shimmer Dragon, which tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, draw a card. So you can either ping something down, draw some cards. Thrasios here, 4 generic, scry 1, reveal top card of your library. It's a land, put on the battlefield tap, otherwise draw a card. So a good mana sink for your tap untap shenanigans. Kinnan Bond and Prodigy. This is actually really good in the deck because whenever you tap a non-land permanent, which is your mirrors, for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. I believe this doesn't technically work with Urza because Urza doesn't tap to produce mana. Urza produces the mana, but you tap something else to do it. So look that up. Tell me if that works. But I believe Urza doesn't work with Kinnan. So just remember that. And it has a mana sink here, 5 green, blue. Look at top 5 cards of your library. Put a non-human creature card among them. Mirrors are non-humans, which is great, onto the battlefield. So 7 mana, look at top 5. Then we are going wide, right? Since we're going wide with creatures, we have these cool, neat cards here, neat legendary creatures. Jetmir, Nexus of Revels, gives your mirrors giant buffs if you can get enough creatures. 3, 6, 9 are thresholds. Then you have Albu, Ancient Witness. Gives everything haste except for itself, of course. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, Albu, Ancient Witness deals X damage to any target, and you scry X, where X is the number of untapped artifacts you control. And yes, I think Albu is one of the cards that let you scry up to like scry 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever. It takes forever to resolve, so be mindful of your opponents. If you're scrying 10, just take the next 3 best cards and shuffle them back in. You don't have to play optimally. That's what I love about Commander. You can just play suboptimally, and we'll all have a good time. So I've seen people who sit there for like 10 minutes trying to scry 10, which is ridiculous. That's probably why Gifts on Givens is banned, because quadruple demonic tutor is insane. I digress. Urza Chief Artificer. I love this because it's affinity for artifact creatures, and you have tons of them. Not these, well, this one. And then at the beginning of end step, you make a little construct, which is absolutely cool. Next up is card draw. We've already discussed Shimmer Dragon, Black Market Connection. We have these 2 insane-o-matic card draw machines. Joyra, when you cast a historical spell, including artifacts and legendaries. We don't have sagas in the deck. Draw a card. Vidalcan Archmage, which I think they reprinted in Jumpstart, and they need to reprint again because it's an amazing card. 2 blue. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, draw a card. It's an 0/2. Isn't that crazy how Joyra is so much better? It's a 3/3, has more card types to let you draw cards. And this one's just like a 0/2. That's how design has changed over the years. But they're both really insane. You keep playing your little mirror, draw more little mirrors, cast little mirrors, tap for mana, untap, tap for mana, draw more cards. So it can go insane there. We have Esper Sentinel. Esper Sentinel is an artifact, in fact. Distant Melody. I really like this card in creature decks. Choose a creature type, draw a card for each permanent you control of that type. You can draw up to 20, 30, who knows. So it's really good there. Guardian Project. Whenever a non-tone creature ETBs, draw a card, essentially, in Commander. Kindred Discovery. Now this is Guardian Project on crack. 3 blue. Whenever, as Kindred Discovery enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Mirror, of course. Whenever a creature you control of its chosen type enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card. Wow. So you cast 1 mirror. You draw 2 cards because the mirror itself and Urtet, and you can just suicide them because it's whenever a creature you control attacks, not even deals combat damage, you draw a card. This is one of the best card draw spells in the deck next to Joyra and Vidalcan Archmage and Shimmer Dragon and Esper Sentinel. Okay, they're all really good card draw. Card draw is amazing nowadays in Commander. The removal package in a 5-color deck has every ultra staple that I would have in a 5-color deck. These are the most efficient best removal spells I believe are in Commander today, and I'm playing all of them. Swords to Plowshares, remove any creature, exile it forever. Assassin's Trophy, Anguish Unmaking. This is any permanent, this is non-land, this exiles. Vandal Blast. This card's amazing against us, so just remember that. But this card's amazing against our opponents with treasures and such. Cyclonic Rift, Toxic Deluge, super efficient. Spells, Blasphemous Act, super efficient. Ruinous Ultimatum, one-sided board wipe. The best of the best. I had to include it, and they're in every 5-color deck. If you see my Kenrith Good Stuff deck, you would see this, or my Good Stuff template, you would see these cards. Don't leave home without them. So very, very good. We have the last set of actual cards before we get to the land. We have some graveyard stuff. Dance of the Manse. Return X target artifacts and or non-or enchantments, just artifacts for us, maybe. Each with converted mana cost X or mana value X or less from the graveyard. If X is 6 or more, those permanents are 4/4 creatures in addition to their other types and get all your stuff back if you get board wiped or vandal blasted. So that's neat there. Balgate Recovery gets one thing back. It is also land. I love having these mortal double-face cards increase our land counts. Soul-Guide Lantern as Graveyard Hate, because every deck's a graveyard deck. Don't ever forget that. Teferi's Protection to protect yourself with Teferi, just in case of those crazy board wipes that you want to prevent. Then we come to the boring stuff. This 5-color deck is a little different. I made the mana base a little different because we are playing artifacts. We have tap artifact synergies, so we put the 10 indestructible artifact dual lands from Modern Horizons 2. So it's artifact land, ETB tap indestructible, adds one of each color. I didn't include Fetchland's Triumphs, which are, make the mana more stable, but we are playing creatures that have generic mana costs, so it's easier to cast a lot of things in the deck, except for the Ruinous Ultimatum, which requires 7 specific pips. But besides that, we have these 6 rainbow colored lands to help us out. World Tree is the one that makes everything rainbow color. It's one of the best lands you can get to help you cast your spells. You have Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Mana Confluence, Path of Ancestry, since you are playing creature deck. Spire of Industry, you're playing artifact deck, so this can make any colored mana, possibly. 10 shock lands here. Usually I bias things towards green, except for a lot of our ramp is out artifact ramp, so no biasing towards green, just having a bunch of cool dual lands, rainbow lands. Last set of lands are utility lands. Urza Saga is there to make constructs or get at their Soul Ring. Microsynth Gardens, a brand new card from Phyrexia. Add one colorless, 1 tap, add 1 mana of any color. I love that middle ability, filtering. X tap, this becomes a copy of target non-land artifact you control with mana value X. So you can make a copy of your Unwinding Clock, so if somebody destroys one, you have a spare. Inventor's Fair can get your Unwinding Clock for you. Academy Ruins can bring it back from the graveyard. So artifact synergies there. Copy lands Vesuva Thespian Stage. You can Vesuva Microsynth Gardens and then copy more things. Thespian Stage, Microsynth Garden, then copy an artifact, copy of a copy, right? Bajuka Bog, Graveyard Hate. I love having Graveyard Hate. And Bajuka Bog is in the mana base. Very clean way to do it. We have one of each basic land right there. It's, these Phyrexian lands look pretty darn neat. Here, you use whatever lands you have. I like to be on theme. This came from Phyrexia All Will Be One, and it now has Phyrexia All Will Be One lands. Anyways, that is the end of our regular deck tech. We will be doing some goldfishing, but before we do, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new videos in the future. I have the deck list in the description below, along with all my affiliate links, TCG player links, deck lists, or wherever. Help support the channel. Click on those links, buy some stuff, or just don't buy some stuff. Just enjoy watching the video. So I'm going to shuffle this deck up real quick, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Turn 1, Urtet, Remnant of Memnarch. So this is one of those commanders you do want to play ASAP because you want to play your mirror after Urtet. You can always play a mirror before to, generate that mana. But, usually after Urtet's very good because you get an extra mirror. Okay, we have one mirror. Mirror Galvanizer, which we'll play after Urtet. Let's see what we have. We have an Arcane Signet, turn 2. Balgate Recovery, we play as a land, turn 1. ETB tap, Mirrorsmith. Vidalcan Archmage. That's a really good draw card. So I think we're locked and loaded here. Turn 1, draw a card. Breeding Pool. All right, all these can come into play untapped, but we'll just play our Balgate Recovery because we're going to keep playing lands. Yeah, we'll do that. You know, we could risk it by playing any of these lands here, playing Arcane Signet, playing our dude, but, you know, let's just stay safe. This is what's here for. It's meant to be a land half the time, so it is a land. Turn 2. That's what I love about these mold double face cards. Just turn them into lands when you need them. Metallic Mimic. Okay, so now we have choices here. Play Exotic Orchard, possibly. We have these 2 choices, these 3 choices, lots of choices. I think accelerating out Arcane Signet is really good here. Get our mana under us real quick. Arcane Signet. I mean, Metallic Mimic would be cool. Make Urtet 3/3 when it comes into play, but getting the extra mana early is really, really good. Okay. Turn 3. Goldmere. Okay, we're going to do what we're going to do. Play our commander. Put in our, see what we got, green array, so we'll put in our Godless Shrine tapped. Here, play our Urtet on turn 3, which is good. We have a piece of acceleration, which is good. We have lots of cards just to play, which is also very good. So, turn 4, draw ETB tap land. So now we have options. We have untap land, tap land. We could play a 3-drop, a 2-drop, 2 2-drops. I think we can get the party started here. I don't know. So it's hard to tell. It's based on the texture of your opponents, but usually I just like to just go all in. We play Galvanizer and Goldmere, but I think what we could do is just take it a little slow. Here is we could play Mirror Smith right there. We'll shock in the land here. Breeding Pool. And we'll cast Goldmere there with our white mana. Or it doesn't matter, it's generic. I was looking at this, sorry. Goldmere. This will trigger, these 2 trigger here, right? Whenever you cast a mirror spell, create 1/1 colorless artifact creature token, and then whenever you cast an artifact spell, pay 1, make a mirror. So we'll pay 1, we'll make a mirror, and then we'll make a mirror for our commander. So our turn 4 is looking really, really good right here. We got 4 mirror going on right there. And then next turn we tap this, and Urtet can untap it during the beginning of combat phase. All right, turn 5. So now we're doing really well here. Boom, another ETB tap land. This is okay. That's what we signed up for. We have 3 mana play and a 4 mana play. We can always, we got another mana here, 6 mana. Never forget about that one. So let's see what we want to do here. I think what we want to do is start getting our card draw engine online. Blue, 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 blue here. Actually, we'll just tap this one. So we'll do like a secret thing. We'll tap this one. We'll play our Vidalcan Archmage here. And then we'll go to combat. We'll untap this guy right there because of our Urtet. Then we'll cast Mirror Galvanizer with the guy we just untapped, which is great. That's what it's there for. Here, we cast this. We can't trigger this. We don't have extra mana. Unfortunately, we have ETB tap lands. We do trigger this one. Draw a card. We drew a Mirror Retriever. Trigger Urtet, make another mirror. So now we want to shred through our deck quickly. We'll play our ETB tap land. We'll play this land right here. Perfect. Now we're going turn 6. We got this shenanigans going on, plus this shenanigans going on. Hopefully we get one of those untappers. That's why we want to get our card draw engine online, so we can get one of those untappers to take advantage of all these mirrors that we're making. Turn 6. Oh, there. Speaking of untappers, Gearpure Aether Grid. Perfect. That's great for us. So we definitely want to play that. Let's start with Mirror Retriever. Here, we'll play Mirror Retriever. We'll tap our mirror. Always tap the mirror because it untaps. Here, we'll have Trigger. We'll pay the 1 extra to make the mirror because it helps with Gearpure Aether Grid. This triggers Urtet. Make another mirror for free. We'll draw a card. Mirror Battlesphere. Ooh, that's sweet. Can we cast it? 1, 2, 3, 4. This untaps 5. No, we can't cast it. Oh, well. We probably played that out of order. We could have played Metallic Mimic, but I think what we want to do is just tap this here. Play Gerper Aether Grid right there. I think let's do a little mini take backs. Let's tap this for mana and tap this, untap this guy here, and now we can just tap pairs. This pair, that pair, this pair on the extra guy here to kind of shoot things down, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we just shoot things down. Beginning of combat, we untap all our things that we shot things down. So we did 8 damage to something, or 4 damage. So we tapped 4 pairs. So this gets pretty nutty. You do take a lot of time. Your opponents might get annoyed at you. So you don't have to physically tap them. You'd be like, beginning of combat, I'm just tap these two. With this trigger on the stack, tap deal 2, 2, 2, 2, deal 8. Deal 4 damage. Kind of shortcut that a little bit. We untap everything here. We'll play our land for turn. There. We can do the same thing. But usually what I like to do is keep these things untapped. If anybody tries to attack you, then go boom, smack them for 8. Or at the end of your previous opponent's turn, you just boom, smack them, and then untap right away. They can do the same thing. All right, let's take one more turn for fun because we love this deck. Okay, untap all our stuff here. Draw 1 card, Temple Garden, untap land. All right. Now this is 5 creatures, 6 creatures, maybe 7 creatures if you do that. This makes them all bigger. So can we do both? Can we do both? Oh, and I totally forgot. Gosh, I can't even believe this. Mirror Galvanizer. Untap each other mirror you control. So on top of that, you could tap this, tap your Mirror Galvanizer, untap. So let's actually do a count after we play our giant Battlesphere, which we cannot play Metallic Mimic here. Actually, we can play Metallic Mimic. What we'll do is we'll just we have to do it post combat Battlesphere. So we just play our Metallic Mimic here. It doesn't count as a casting a mirror spell, but it is a mirror when you choose mirror. Here we have 6 mana on the battlefield here. We'll just trigger this because we'd rather have our dudes bigger than do extra damage with Gerper Aether Grid. We draw a card for Metallic Mimic here. Oh, Plague Mirror, sweet. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can even tap the Arcane Signet for the Gerper Aether Grid, but I'd rather use it for mana. So we have 9. We about so 8 divided by 2 is 4 damage. All these are mirrors. Tap. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tap those 8 right there. Deal damage. Then beginning of combat, you untap all your mirrors, including your gold mirror here, and then now you tap your 7 mana. Here it's gonna get a little bit nutty here. So these are 5 mirrors. So let's put 5 here. 5 mirror. Tap your 7 mana. Play your mirror Battlesphere. Oops. This will trigger. So you make 4, and then this will trigger too. So you make 4 mirrors for this guy, a 5th mirror for this guy. Here, so you have 5 mirrors, but they all get +1/+1. Additional +1/+1 counter. This gets a +1/+1 counter. This draws you a card. Boom. Shimmer Dragon. Oh my god, I wish I had that earlier. Shimmer Dragon. So now you have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 things. So 14 divided by 2, 7. 7 damage anywhere, so if anybody attacks you, boom, smack them real hard. Unfortunately, we don't have the extra mana for our Galvanizer. But you could just not play the Mimic and had smaller dudes and had tons of extra mana for the Galvanizer. So it's up to you. It depends on the texture of the game. If you got a lot of things on your opponent's side that you want to ping, and you don't mind having your smaller creatures, then you don't have to play Metallic Mimic. Or if you want bigger, fatter creatures, you want to end the game quicker, you play Metallic Mimic. Or if something has, like a -1/-1 counter, Curse of Death's Hold or something on screen. On screen when I'm talking about on board, then you might want the bigger dudes. You have these left. Shimmer Dragon goes completely nutty. Like if we play this next turn here, we tap all our stuff, draw like half our deck here. Let's pretend, draw a bunch of lands, of course. Draw some things. Cast our spell here. Archmage. Draw a card. Untap with everything, draw another half of our deck here, which is great. Draw some more cards. We're like fully loaded now that we can tap our artifacts for damage, tap them for cards, untap them with Mirror Galvanizer, which is one of the most important mirrors. This one does grant everything +1/+1, so these are 3/3 mirrors, so you can kind of get in the red zone with that. Anyways, this deck is super fun. It explodes really quickly. You are vulnerable to our Vandal Blast, like any artifact deck is, but you know, it's still super fun to play. That's the gamble you take to have powerful things, powerful synergies. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy this deck tech. If you did, leave some comments in the comment section below. Tell me how much you love it. And tell me how much you love these little guys. These little guys turn big and just whack you to death. I do have the deck list in the description below, right there, if you want to check that out. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be alerted for new videos in the future. And as always, have a wonderful day.